Hello and welcome to the Rei Sportscar Championship here for the Division 2 sprint race here at the Red Bull Ring, and as we can see there is rain on the track. This is going to be a big challenge for all of these Division 2 drivers in these tricky conditions, but we've already had a qualifying session and on pole position is Lazelle 973 with a fantastic lap. In second place, getting the front row for the second time in a row is to Heilbro, with third place being his fellow American Way Too Many Napkins. In fourth place is the championship leader now, Average Tom, with fifth place being My Own Parasite. In sixth place there, the number 18 car, Lewis, with seventh place being Cyberstrike in the Pikachu car. In eighth place in the bowling car is Pixtecker, and rounding out the field here is July Broad in ninth place. But let's get away here for this sprint race. It's 18 laps, it's going to be about 20 minutes of non-stop action, we hope. And based off the qualifying times, it would seem like Lazelle really does have the pace here, but you can never count out anyone else here in Division 2. So we are away here for the start of the race. You can see the spray being kicked up into the face of the Americans in second and third. To Heilbro, only going to the inside for turn one, and that's very late braking. Is it too late? No, if anything, Lazelle maybe brake too early. But in doing so, Way Too Many Napkins is now the aggressor as going to turn two and looking to make a move for second. Meanwhile, Average Tom on the outside, we can just see there in the silver car having to hold position. Just further back, has we had any moves? No, but Janai Broad is very loose, but he's holding on for now. Back up front, and Lazelle holding the lead. He's not using traction control, neither is to Heilbro, and neither is Way Too Many Napkins, but he's having to defend instantly from Average Tom here. And actually, doesn't seem like many Division 2 drivers are opting to use traction control, and that's a big incident there, and that might have sent Way Too Many Napkins off the track. No, he's managed to control it, but yeah, Average Tom losing out there, but that was his own fault. Then we have My Own Parasite, Lewis and Cyberstrike. We've got Pixtecker with some flashing orange lights, but it is very hard to see in these conditions. A couple of different lines being taken there. We can see Way Too Many Napkins in the incredibly vibrant car there, taking a much tighter line through turn two. And meanwhile at the back, Pixtech has had an incident. This was coming out of turn one. Let's just go onto the front of his car. And he's accelerated maybe a little bit too aggressively there and hitting the outside curb, sending him into the grass, but he manages to control the car well enough to actually stay not too far back from the pack, and I think he should catch up soon. Here we can see the pack running through turn two, and if we go back towards second place to Heilbro, he is catching up Lazelle very quickly here in the number 50 car. You can just see Way Too Many Napkins and Average Tom fighting there in the rear view mirror, but in the foreground here is to Heilbro using a little bit more of the curb here at the final turn. He's really closed in on Lazelle. Definitely a bit more speed that could have been taken from the race leader. With to Heilbro with the fastest lap, but instantly being bettered by Average Tom with a 1:05.0. Now Average Tom, he is the championship leader, he does have the highest amount of ballast, but he's still looking for an overtake, and I think he will get it because Way Too Many Napkins is off the circuit. You can see him rejoining, and let's just catch a little replay of that. So here from this outboard shot, yeah, you can just see there, all the way into the red and white Astro. And actually, My Own Parasite might close in pretty soon. Meanwhile, Lewis and Cyberstrike are fighting. Let's also catch a Wolf Cola sponsored replay here. Let's go on board with Cyberstrike. And Lewis has just braked a bit too late, maybe turned in a bit too late as well. But Cyberstrike almost followed him off the circuit, rejoined quicker, and due to the quicker rejoin, gains that sixth place. Good stuff from the Brit. Oh, slidey boy there. Oh, still continuing to oversteer, but he holds on to 6th place. Further up front, and Tahilbro still napping at the heels of Loisel. Oh, that's a big amount of contact, but Tahilbro is going to send himself into a spin, into the wall. He does go into the wall. So in the end, he went much quicker than Loisel going into the corner, and that's dropped him down to 8th. Let's watch that from the onboard. So we've seen before that Loisel is a bit slower in this final corner than Tahilbro before, and going in, yeah, seems like pretty similar case actually, where Tahilbro is a bit more confident in that turn, but has failed to control it after the contact. Maybe needed a little bit more awareness, but Loisel will hold on to the lead for now. And that has given Average Tom a great breakthrough there to get into second, right on the back of the Brit. So we do have a Brit 1-2. It is an American flag due to the residency at times. And he's on the inside here of the black and red car. And the championship leader takes the lead into turn 2 here on lap 4. Clearly the fastest driver there with some pretty quick lap times so far. He gained over a second on Loisel on that previous lap and is now going to pull away surely. Further back is Waytuni Natkins, who maybe not too consistent so far, but we'll see if he can hold it together with My Own Parasite and Cyberstrike in 5th, who's actually pulling away a bit there from Lewis. So good stuff from Cyberstrike. Meanwhile, at the back of the field is a retirement for Pix Tekka, so that's a big shame for him. We've also had a spin, so Tahilbro, who was fighting for the win, so with Pix Tekka having a mechanical problem, Tahilbro, who here was on his own, has accelerated and turned a bit too aggressively out of turn 3. Probably the turning that's done it more than the acceleration there. You really have to straighten the car out to make sure you don't lose control, and that is his race ruined for sure. Oh, and another fastest lap from Average Tom, 4.7. This is actually sort of pace that would find him in good stead if he was to join Division 1. Also is something to take into account, he does have the highest ballast, so he's got the highest ballast and he's still the fastest driver out on circuit. Meanwhile, Waytuni Natkins, I think he's made an error there through turn 1, because that was a very interesting line on the exit. This might be similar to what Pix Tekka did on a couple of laps ago. A little bit too much speed going through the corner, but it's all safe. And here is Cyberstruck and Lewis battling it out. Oh, flashing of headlights. Lewis not being too aggressive under the brakes, could maybe brake a little bit later and get on the throttle earlier. Running an unconventional line, and you can see there the Pikachu car pulling away. But there, Lewis actually straightening the car out pretty well. That'll help through turn 4 and towards turn 5 and 6. There's actually quite a big time difference there between Lewis accelerating and braking. And on the throttle he goes, yep, maybe a little bit later than Average Tom and Loisel are doing up front. Let's just watch Tom here from the front. Oh, he really powers up that hill and really revving the engine quite a lot there. Oh, Lewis has got Cyber in all of that. Let's just... What's happened here? A Cyberstrike brake too late? You can just see at the top of the hill there, Cyberstrike has gone off the track. He's braked a smidge too late. He's managed to control the car with a little bit of oversteer, but he drops down to 6th in a similar way to how he regained that position in the first place. Back up front, and Average Tom still pulling away by over a second a lap here from Loisel. It's just a sprint race, but with pace like this, he might actually get round to lapping cars. And as we get closer towards the end of Season 8 and a little bit further towards Season 9, Average Tom is putting himself forward to maybe join the big boys in Division 1. We've already seen Division 1 have an excellent sprint race with incredibly closely matched racing. Lozelle actually now picking up the pace a bit. He's found over a second from his previous lap, but still lost a few tenths to Average Tom, who continued to set the timing sheets alight. Further back, Waytoo Atkins being hunted down by Mayan Parasite, who's making steady progress here and might find himself on course to grab a podium here in the second half of this. Lewis running a little bit wide through turn 2, but actually, yeah, 5.1. Yeah, the pace of everyone has actually improved quite significantly since the first few laps. So once they've got to handle here these tricky conditions, they're actually improving at a very fantastic rate. Cybertruck just coming through turn 5 onto the curb, and through turn 6 missing that curb a little bit and having to use this curb, but yeah, you need to use that inside curb a little bit to take a little bit extra speed, just like Tahil was doing when he was fighting for the lead in the early stages. But as we know, he is now down to 8th place behind Janai Abroad, who, yeah, he's also picking up the pace. 109 and 108 previously, but now improving by 2 seconds. That's great stuff for him. Tahilbro will definitely want to catch him up. He's doing 105s. So yeah, we might see a battle for 8th place later on. There's a spin. I think it's Cyberstrike. It is. And it was pretty similar to last lap when he lost out to Lewis. He's gone way too deep into turn 1. This time he hasn't been able to control the car, but he rejoins. And we'll stay ahead of July Abroad for now. And here is the American here. You can see using a lot of the track on the entry, which is very, very good. Hitting a late apex, which will then help his run through turn 3 to catch Cyberstrike later on in the race. Back up front, an Average Tom. Wow, what an amazing improvement there. Half a second again? Just when the rest of the field was starting to potentially close up, he just pulls half a second out of the bag. And even though Lozelle's now moved up into the 4s and those 5s, he's not really got much of a challenge to that. Waytoo Atkins and Mayan Parasite also improved, and they are being closed by Lewis, who is now one of the fastest drivers on track with a 4.6. Let's go on board with him and just see him hunt these two down. We might expect Mayan Parasite to drive quite nicely due to his Canadian heritage. Probably saying sorry just for being in front right now. Oh, I think we got a couple of cars wide further back. We do. Just Cyberstrike and July Abroad both running wide at turn 1. And I think Tahilbro as well. So yeah, turn 1 is actually proving to be tricky, and Tahilbro accelerating on the curb, accelerating back onto the track. That's another 5 seconds lost. And in all of that, we have missed a double overtake. What has happened here? With Tahilbro going off, we've got... Wow, what has happened here? Crazy action. And let's get it seems as if Waytoo Atkins are just control. Mayan Parasites have nowhere to go. Exact same mistake. Mayan Parasite was blocked at all in that incident. Let's just catch an outboard view. So you can see Waytoo Atkins oversteering. Mayan Parasite synchronised. They're completely synchronised. That's amazing. And the one driver who was not playing with that little dancey game was Lewis, who sweeped through into 3rd. Absolute hilarity. Lewis moving up into the podium positions, and frankly well deserved with lap times like this, although that penalty may cost him. I think he used a little bit too much of the track in between turn 5 and turn 6. Oh, we do have a car losing at the back. It is Tahilbro again. So after that incident at turn 1, I think he's just really struggled with the cold tyres that he now has. And what could have been a podium or maybe even a win has just gone off with just far too many mistakes. Just, yep, too much throttle, and off he goes. Back up front with the second half of this race now is Average Tom, whose pace is dropping slightly, but it's not enough to give Lozelle a chance. But back into 3rd, Lewis having to defend and show Way too Atkins, what he is worth. 4.7 on the last lap, even with having to overtake 2 spinning cars. And Mayan Parasite's got a fantastic run through turn 4, that's absolutely amazing stuff, but Mayan Parasite is not going to get by a defending American there into turn 5, but he is now a wide American. Of course he is. Going through turn 6, but no, just unable to carry the speed to really close effectively. Oh, what's happened to Lizelle? Lizelle's gone way off. He's lost about 2 seconds there. He's going to lose more if he accelerates too strongly, but Lewis makes the same mistake. And what could have been an excellent opportunity for him to gain a position is proving not to be. If anything, what's happened here? Because it seems like everyone's ended up on the inside of the track. So you can see cars getting loose ahead. Oh my goodness. They all get loose into turn 1, probably with the exception of my own Parasite. He was just trying to look for the slipstream. But Lewis running very, very deep into turn 2, maybe due to some dirty tyres. You can see Lizelle, Lewis and Way Too Atkins, followed by Mayan Parasite, all in the same camera shot. And the one driver who's really struggled to put any feet wrong is Tom. And he's actually now crossing the line now for lap 12. Oh, Lewis using maybe a little bit too much of the track through turn 5 and turn 6. We'll see if he gets a penalty. No, doesn't seem like he does. But an extra few inches, he definitely would have got half a second of a penalty. Just a quick look further back, and we've got Cyberstrike pulling away slightly from Janai Abroad, only by a few tenths though. And as they go into turn 1, we may see Janai Abroad catch up because Cyberstrike's gone wide, but Janai Abroad seems to be using Cyberstrike as a braking point, meaning they both just fly off the track. We've seen a lot of synchronicity here in Division 2. Let's just see if this gap between Lizelle and Lewis is closing. I think with that little wobble out of turn 6 it is. Oh, we do have a spinner at the back. It is Cyberstrike. We'll just catch that in a moment. Lizelle 5.3. Lewis 5.0, 5.3. So actually Lizelle is pulling away. But let's just look at Cyberstrike, who he was fighting for 6th with Janai Abroad, but he's made a very similar mistake to what we've seen. But he gets the back of his car towards the wall, rejoins. And that was with enough time lost to lose that 6th position. Oh my goodness, what has happened here? What has happened here? We go 20 seconds. Bonk, he goes. And actually the quickest place for him to go is now into the pit lane. Let's actually just catch that on board. Because he has flown about 10 miles off the circuit here into a pit lane that isn't even needed to be active. So he's accelerating heavily on the curb, a bit too heavily. And you can see the Armco approaching in the rearview mirror, and there he is. Well, yeah, and he does just go into the pit lane. Back up front, and probably now going to lap Cyberstrike soon, is Average Tom, who actually had a pretty poor lap last time round at 7.5. Lizelle therefore caught up by a couple of seconds, but still pulling away from Lewis, with Way Too Atkins and Mayan Parasite now very, very close. We've then got Janai Abroad to Heelbro, and I think Heelbro has actually gone into 7th, because here is Cyberstrike coming out of the pits as he rejoins there after that hilarious incident where he somehow manages to fly straight into the pit lane backwards. But with just about 5 laps to go, The closest battle on track is this battle for 4th and 5th. They've been pretty close for a large portion of this race, and they're very similarly matched. A 6.3 and a 6.8, so maybe a little bit of time lost there for the Canadian. Meanwhile, Lewis is actually on the same pace as Lazelle, but neither of them are able to match Tom's consistent pace, with the exception of lap 12. So we had a 4.675, a 4.676, and a 4.687. And even the laps before that were consistent. Is this going to match it? Another 4.7. Oh, we do have a yellow flag. I think it... and we got Cyberstrike spinning, this time in the entry to the pit lane. So completely on his own. He was trying to catch up to Heilbro though. We can just see Heilbro ahead, but... oh, it's just braking too late in turn 1. And as the rear of the car clips the curb, that sends him this time into the entry. This time into the exit of the pit. And he is now a lap down from average Tom. Average Tom actually running a little bit wide through turn 2 there. Not where he wants to be. Lazelle finally getting a pretty good lap time there, 4.7. And if he can keep this lap time up, then maybe in the feature race he can be one to challenge and lead from the front. He will be starting on pole there. Average Tom will be starting 4th due to the grid order being based off a previous qualifying session. Lewis must have made a mistake. Let's okay, no, it must have happened a while ago. Because actually on that previous lap it was Way2 Natkins and Martin Parasite both catching up heavily, and Way2 Natkins may look to the inside into turn 5 with just 3 laps remaining. But no, he thinks better of it. No, yeah, he does think better of it, as he actually loses quite a lot of momentum through turn 5. That gives an opportunity to Martin Parasite. He almost loses that rear of the car. But it's a great run. And a lot of momentum carried through turn 6 onto the main straight. It's a short main straight, it's a short track, but in these wet conditions, this is providing some excellent racing. Going to the outside, he does... We haven't seen Tony moves around the outside here at Red Bull rank, and that is not going to be one. Lazelle is now also a lap ahead of Cyberstrike. Cyberstrike definitely has good pace though, so if you can keep it out of the barriers and out of the pit lane, top 5 may be possible in the feature. Yet again they're racing into turn 5. Yet again Martin Parasite on the outside like he was at turn 1, not to be. But he gets a much better run. And if you use a little bit more of the track through turn 6, that might just be that extra little bit of speed he needs. Oh, we do have a car off. It might be to Heilbro. It is to Heilbro off at turn 1. He is now a lap down. There's less than 2 laps remaining now for the race leader, with average Tom actually losing a little bit of pace on that last lap. Oh, we have a car off. Is it Mayan Parasite? No, it's to Heilbro again. No, it's Lazelle. It's not to Heilbro. Apologies to him. Lazelle, with just 2 laps remaining, in a very comfortable second, has just got on that curb and gone headfirst into the wall, which is the worst way to go into the wall because of how much longer it takes. And I think part of that is because he was upping his pace, really trying to be aggressive and learn the track, and he just pushed it a millimetre too far. And what was looking like second place, it's all over for him. He now has to hope that what made too many Atkins or Mayan Parasite makes a mistake here in the last minute and a half. Oh, whoa, what the... With Mayan Parasite on the grass, that would be an amazing overtake. Maybe a little bit illegal, but no. Let's just catch a replay. So, Way2 Natkins get loose on the outside. Mayan Parasite trying to avoid him by going to the outside, but then he had to turn a little bit more aggressively. And on the wet surface, he was on the wet line, dipped a wheel, just a little bit too further out than he would like to, and oversteered as well. He managed to hold it. Oh, drifting. No, he's drifted too far. Lazelle's going to be right on the back of him for this final lap. Maybe pushing too hard to try and get a podium, and now in doing so he might cost himself 4th place. Oh, is that, we've got another car off, and it's Cybertruck off at turn 1. We're going to go with our race leader, just got 2 corners to go. Lewis in a very comfortable second now. A couple of seconds out of way too Atkins. Mayan Parasite here now fighting with Lazelle 4th and 5th. Oh, and that's very wide. Lazelle lost 15 seconds on that last lap as he faced the barrier in the exact... Oh, by Cyberstrike, and Lazelle's not going to be happy with 5th. Meanwhile, as we catch our race leader crossing the line, one of the best wins we've seen in Division 2 this year. Congratulations to him. He will further strengthen his championship lead. Lewis will come home 2nd. 3rd is going to be way too many Atkins. And what's happening here? We've got Mayan Parasite off the track. And Mayan Parasite's lost it. He's lost it. He's lost the 4th place there at the line with Lazelle coming through. Let's just catch a replay of that amazing action. So Lazelle really not being aggressive at all. Mayan Parasite has just gone way too deep, if anything. And then, just coming back on track, he's on the curbing. And when on the curbing, you can see him in his rearview mirror, he's just lost so much speed. In 6th place will be Janai Broad. In 7th place, the lap down is Tahil Bro, but he did have some good pace. He was fighting for a podium early on, but a couple of mistakes dropped him to the back. And then Cyberstrike in 8th. We hope you've enjoyed this race of the Rei Sportscar Championship. See us for more action in Division 1 and Division 2 here at Red Bull Ring.